Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Council of Governors Representation Committee meeting on Monday, 22nd of September 2025. I'm Rebecca Metso, Lead Governor of LPFT, and welcome to everybody, whether they be new people to this meeting or people that have been involved for a little while. Pleased to have you on board this morning, and pleased to encourage you to speak up, but in the right way. So if you can have your microphone off, there is a hand that you can raise if you want to ask a question, or use the chat with a Q for a question or a C for comment. I will try to keep an eye on that, but you may have to use your hand if I miss your Q or your C. If you can keep your questions and comments succinct, that would be really good, and we can get the meeting complete in good time as always. The decisions that we need to make, we'll normally put a Y or an N into the chat as your response. So thank you for that. And there's one little change to your agenda that Jo Walker will be bringing forward her Better Together to run after item 3.1 on your agenda, so that she can be off and doing her other work that she needs to do this morning. So thank you for doing that, Jo, for us. So after welcomes, we will take any further apologies if anybody knows of any apologies. I know that Richard Eccles from the ICB is running a little bit late, and will be with us as soon as he can. Do we have any other apologies other than that have been sent through? I know we have one or two that have been sent through, so thank you for people for that. We have item 1.3 then, declaration of interests. Is there any new declaration of interests that need to be brought to be added to the information? And with that quietness, I take it there's no further declarations of interest. Item 1.4, I bring before you the draft minutes of the Council of Governors meeting 2nd of June 2025, and in this instance ask for a decision, but first ask if you have any queries, questions, comments in regard to those notes. No? So if we have people from that meeting who can say, thank you, Helen. If you can confirm your decision that you are happy with those meeting minutes. Thank you, that's great. So moving on to the schedule of actions. If you can give me a hand with this, Amy, because...
Yes, I can do that. Did you want to talk through each of the actions or just an update for those ones?
Just an update, really. If anybody, I take it as read that people have read this item, and if anybody has any queries or questions relating to the schedule of actions.
I can provide an update for the two that's down as Samantha's actions, Bex, if that's helpful.
That would be good.
So action 8 was in relation to improvements in the way we report our membership statistics. So as you're all aware, we're currently undertaking a review of our membership, and once that's concluded, all the new applications will be added to the system, including a reason how they found out about the trust and why they applied to be a member. So our membership leaflet and application form is being updated, and then that action can be closed down. And then in relation to action 10, that's part of Samantha's handover to myself. So we will be making contact with the Jubilee Christian Fellowship in Grantham, and I'll be able to provide an update on that at the next meeting. And then I think it's over to Jo for the other two, please.
Yeah, sorry. Jo Walker, Head of Communications and Participation. So the Better Together magazine and getting that on the Atrium Digital, that's been on there for a while, and I've been continuously trying to make contact with the people that are kind of currently running those atriums, but because the contracts moved out of the system, or the people that have sort of left, no one seems to know how to get anything onto those now. So I am really struggling in terms of that, taking that forward. However, one of the things I've been thinking about is, and I will talk about it a little bit later on in the papers, around the patient engagement portal that the trust is currently developing. There is potentially an opportunity as part of the specification for that to have things like Better Together attached for people to read through that, which is very similar to the Atrium portals. It'll be through the NHS app, and it's where people's care plans and patient information and also appointment letters, etc. will be. So I'm not sure I can make any more progress in terms of getting the Atrium, the Better Together on those consoles, because no one seems to be able to help me in terms of how to do that, I'm afraid. So I don't know whether we want to close that or look at any alternative things.
If you can just give us a little explanation about what Atrium is, for those of us that
So the
haven't heard.
Atrium, yeah, so they are the digital portals that are in some of our community hubs, and I think it was something that Dan Fleshborn had previously asked about when we kind of reduced the frequency of the printed Better Together. We were a bit worried about the digital access, and I've actually, to be fair, that my suggestion in terms of the portal, patient engagement portal, may not solve that, but it's some consoles that sit in the community hubs that people can access things digitally if they don't maybe have that digital access at home. They were introduced a few years ago as part of the community transformation programme.
Right. Dan did have his hand up.
I was going to say, I think Dan may be coming in on the fact that my suggestion might not have been meeting the need.
Thank you, Jo. Dan Fleshborn, Adult Inpatient Governor. I'm slightly concerned that nobody knows how to do anything with it and nobody knows who's responsible for it. Maybe our friends in the council, I think it's LCC, that were originally the sponsors of this, to get these atriums, so these access computers to people within those wellbeing hubs, so they didn't need to go any further. Maybe our stakeholder governor from LCC might be able to point us in the right direction, but I'm hesitant to give up.
That's fine. I can keep going. I had to try some of our council members.
Yeah, and I recognise that you are limited because of the fact that you are reliant on other people knowing. I'm just slightly worried that other people don't know. When a lot of money was spent on those systems as part of the transformation project, and then suddenly like they just kind of disappeared into the ether. So that's slightly worrying, but not worrying on our behalf because they're not ours. But yeah,
I will keep trying. I will keep trying, Dan. That's absolutely fine. I will keep trying. I'm just conscious it's been on there a while and I haven't managed to make that progress.
Yeah. Perhaps an email drop to Ingrid or Brenda, our LCC colleagues from the stakeholder governors, might give them the challenge to see if they can find out that information.
Yeah, no problem. And then I have to admit that Action 9 is not something I actually remember, and I wonder if it was something that maybe was discussed after I left the last meeting. So I maybe need to go back and review the notes in terms of the advertising rep committee on ticket, Taylor, unless Amy's going to tell me, because it's not one I recall. I'm really sorry.
I think this one was around knowing members that are coming and advertising it a little bit more widely than what we do at the moment. But I think it's probably something to factor in, which I'll say quite a lot today, post review of our membership, when we know how to engage with our membership and how's best to communicate with them about our meetings and events. So maybe one to defer to next time, unless Dan wants to add anything.
Yeah, sorry, I'll turn my camera on. Just to add to that, it was as an alternative to Eventbrite, because we know Eventbrite are now charging, I think somebody said previously. So that it was the alternative to Eventbrite to get sort of the meetings out and a bit more open for people to join.
Right, so it's the broader advertising. Right, okay, yes. Ticket Tailor doesn't work in quite the same way as Eventbrite in terms of an open advertising platform. It's more of just a buying tickets and bits and pieces, so it may not have the actual desired effect in terms of getting that out. But I think what Amy's saying in terms of the post review of the membership and things might be another. We'll have a look at a few different ideas as part of that work. And then I think that's my 2 actions, an update on both of mine.
Thank you. Does any other of the governors have questions or queries relating to what's been said, or have any questions or comments that they'd like to make in relation to our schedule of actions? Well, thank you for those people that were able to voice to that and help us with that. Our next item on the agenda is item 1.6, and I'd like to introduce Michelle Holness, one of our service user governors who became a governor earlier this year, to talk about her One Governor experience. Over to you, Michelle.
You're just getting it up on a phone now.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak today. I became a governor for Lincolnshire Partnership because I care deeply about mental health, community well-being, and making sure that the voices of patients, carers and frontline staff are truly heard and When I stood for election last year, my aim was simple: to bring real-world experience, compassion, and a sense of accountability to this role. I wanted to help ensure that LPFT continues to provide safe, responsive, and person-centred care, not just in words but in practice. Over the past year, I've had the privilege of engaging with service users, staff members, and fellow governors. I've listened carefully, asked questions where it mattered, and brought concerns and ideas forward to help shape the direction of the Trust. I've been proud to play a part in oversight and assurance, especially as we navigate growing pressures in the NHS and wider mental health services, but there's still work to do.
That sounds great, Michelle. Pleased that you've had a good experience and that you continue to do so. And thank you for writing such passionate words to share with us this morning. So, moving on to our next section, recruitment management of the membership, and our item 2.1, our governor vacancy report and election plans for 2025. Amy Poole, please.
Thank you, Bex. Morning, everyone. Amy Poole, Deputy Trust Secretary. So this report presents the current status of the governor elections process that was undertaken throughout the summer. The results from the elections will be shared at our annual public meeting this Thursday, and we had contested elections for our service user constituency and our staff corporate constituency. The new governor's inductions will then take place throughout October and early November 2025. The detail is in the report, Bex, but happy to take any questions if anyone's got any.
Do we have any questions for Amy with regards to the elections? I take it if people aren't able to be at the APM on Thursday, there will be a formal email that goes out to everybody to confirm who our new colleagues will be.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah.
There will be.
And Helen has asked, have we filled all?
No, we haven't. So we will remain with vacancies in 2 of our general carer seats and 1 of our young people carer seats, and also 1 of our older people and frailty staff seats. Someone has resigned post us going out for election, so that seat will remain vacant as well until the next by-election.
Right. And I'd like to invite Chris Davison. He has a comment.
Yes, thank you. I was just going to say thank you for the update to follow, because I know I can't make it on Thursday due to kind of contrasting clashes with my day job. So yeah, it'd be really great to get those results forward. But thank you, and thank you for all the work.
Thank you. I must extend thanks to Samantha Swindell, our Governor Membership Officer, who's recently left post, but a lot of this and the engagement has been down to Samantha and fellow governors. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah. And a further question from Helen. Do they still remain open if someone comes forward at a later date?
So they remain as vacant until we go ahead with either a by-election or they go as by-elected seats in the next full election, which will be next summer.
And a comment from Joe Walker. We'll be recording the APM, the annual public meeting, and the recording will be available on the website. So that's giving us lots of information about that. So unless there's any, we have a question from Dan. Who is responsible for recruitment now?
So that will be myself and Karen Scott, our Trust Secretary, who will oversee future elections and recruitment of governors and membership.
Thank you for your question, Dan. Any other questions that people would like to raise? Or we'll move on to item 2.2, Governor and Membership Delivery Plan.
Thank you,
Amy,
Beth.
please.
So this report details the progress against the actions that were detailed in the Governor Membership Delivery Plan that was originally produced back in 2022. The progress notes are included in the report, but in light of the ongoing review of membership, I propose that we fully review this at the next meeting in order to highlight those new areas of focus where we've noticed a reduction in some membership constituencies and also how we want to engage with members moving forward. So there's quite a lot of actions still in progress, which, like I say, I'd like to review in more detail, but happy to take any questions or comments or ideas from any governors today and how we progress with those that are still in progress.
I think it's an excellent idea to review at the next meeting because we can push this out through the notes of this meeting so that people are aware that our follow-up meeting is going to be discussing this. Right, I've got a message in the chat from Emma Slack that she did want to ask a question on the prior subject and didn't get time to type a Q. So would you like to ask your question, Emma? Would you like to put your microphone on, Emma? Can't hear you.
I'm on my mobile phone this morning and everything is not where it should be like it is on the computer. So I do apologise, everyone. Emma Slack, Public Governor East Lindsey. Yes, I do have a question or query. I don't know if it's in the right subject, so tell me if it isn't. But while we're talking about membership and governors and things, because I did speak to Karen about this. All of all memberships have all had an email asking if you want to stay on as a member to reply to this email. But what my point was, I'd worked really hard while I've been in Boston with work, getting new members signed up, and now they're signed up, and now they're having an email asking them if they want to stay on. So probably most of them won't end up replying to that email and won't end up staying on as a member. And then the other issue was I had an email as well on my personal email asking if I wanted to stay as a member, which I thought was a bit ridiculous considering I've been a public governor since 2021. And if I don't respond to the email, I'm no longer a member. Well, if I'm no longer a member, I can no longer be a governor.
I can
And purposely,
sorry.
I'm not going to respond to that email because I'm quite annoyed that I got sent it in the first place.
I can come back on that if that's okay, Bex.
Yes, please do.
Yeah.
Because I was
So-
going to come in on that as well, because I actually had that email as well. And
I was
as lead
really
governor,
frustrated by that,
I
really.
did reply to say that I was the lead governor, but that did come to my email that I had before my NHS email. So I think perhaps we've got some looking at tidying up, because I thought those information letters were going out to people that hadn't been in touch with the trust in a particular length of time.
When I spoke to Karen, she did say to me that somebody, or whether it was computer or something, but it had ended up going to absolutely everyone rather than just the people that hadn't, you know, engaged for the last couple of years. And I just said, it's hard enough as it is trying to get people to sign up. And I've spent a lot of time and effort getting people in Boston to sign up through the different groups that I run now, events, activities, that I'm also doing my Carers First work as well as trying to get people to sign up. And then, you know, they're probably going to think, well, why they sent me an email? I've only just signed up. And then if they haven't gone and, you know, returned that email, then they've gone.
So
it just feels like a waste of time.
On that point, Emma, it was an oversight in terms of the communication that went to members. So Bex is right in terms of it was supposed to be a 2-year time frame as to when we hadn't heard from people, or people that had signed up within the most recent 2 years wouldn't be contacted. So we are rectifying that through another communication to our members as part of the membership review, just to kind of clarify that. In terms of the governors getting the communication themselves, it's very difficult to filter down on the system, but we will be doing, the difficulties meant that you got the email, but as part of the review prior to doing the removal of those members that haven't been in contact, we will do that sense check to make sure members of our board, members of our Council of Governors are all still included as members, unless they've told us otherwise, which hopefully won't be the case for anybody, but we will do that sense check prior to the removal of the other members we haven't heard from. I hope that answers your questions, and apologies again for the oversight there with the email.
It does in a way, but I just want to say it did make me feel a bit undervalued, really, because it's sort of, well, you know, you should know I'm a governor, and if I don't answer, then if I'm not a member, I can't be a governor anymore. And it just really irked me, niggled me quite, and sorry.
No, I'm sorry to hear that, and I completely understand where you're coming from. Would it be helpful if we did, I think probably from some comments in the chat around people thinking it was a spam communication, if we did a communication around to governors just to let them know that that was sent in error and that they will all still remain members? Would that be helpful? Yeah, I can take that away.
That was a bit, sorry, I mean, I don't know if Karen's on, but I did speak to her about it the other Monday, so I kind of was wondering why something hadn't happened after I'd spoke to her.
It might be, Emma, in the handover between Samantha and I, that was one of the things on the list. So she left on Thursday and I've picked up from Friday / this week.
It wasn't Sam I spoke to, it was Karen.
Oh, okay. It might be that it went to Samantha and then we've not actioned it since, but I'll make sure it's done this week.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for bringing that up, Emma. Okay. It's important that communications are right. And I must admit, I did send quite a quirky email back to the person that sent this out to say that I was currently lead governor and that, yes, I would continue to be a member of the trust. Yeah.
I have to just say, I think it was, I mean, yeah, it was an oversight, but I just think it's quite a damaging one because it made me feel undervalued, and I think it also it's quite a big mistake and it hasn't been rectified, and I find that quite not good, really.
I apologise for that, and I'll I'll action that as a matter of priority this week. Just to come back in terms of the communication message, sorry, in the comments around the entire membership being emailed. The principle of the email still stands in terms of we want people to make sure we've got their most up-to-date information, but I appreciate the bit about wanting to hear back from people by a certain date, I think is the misleading bit for those that have signed up more recently. So like I say, I'll go away and I'll take an action away there to communicate with governors specifically, and then with those members just to make sure it's explicitly clear around what the communication was for.
If I could just add as well, the most ones that have recently signed up need an email to tell them they were sent that in error and they are still going to remain as a member.
Yes, I'll make sure that's done as a separate communication.
All that hard work for it to go down the drain.
No, of course not. And like I say, I'm sorry, and I'll pick that up this week and let you know when the communication's gone out.
All right, thanks, Amy. Thank you. Thanks very much.
Perhaps a copy of the email can be sent through to Emma so that she sees, and she will know for when she meets with people that she's signed up to be members, and will know about that. So yes, thank you for that, Emma. A question from Dan. Just for clarity, are you and Karen also responsible for this now? The mention of Karen is Karen Scott, our Trust Secretary, for those that are new to this call, who isn't with us today.
Yes, so I think Dan's question was in relation to the Governor Membership Delivery Plan. The answer is yes, Dan, and just to be absolutely clear, Karen and I are now responsible for all Governor Membership related activities. So Karen has always been the ultimate responsible person. It was just previously it was Samantha you'd see at meetings, whereas moving forward it'll be myself. So yeah, everything will be Karen and I.
Okay, and a comment from James Eckersley, one of our governors. This is the most unsatisfactory answer. If the entire membership was emailed in error, this is a significant incident. Thank you for your assurance, Amy. So thank you for your comment, James. And moving on to our membership statistics, please, Amy.
Thank you, Beck. So I think we've covered a little bit of this in terms of our conversation that we've just had, but this report in particular presents the membership statistics as of the 15th of September. So you'll see overall there's been a decrease of 106 members, but that is linked to our membership review from people that we've heard back from, as well as changes in our staff starters and leavers. There's been a notable increase in the ethnicity of members that's not stated. However, this was a result of some data not being included in our staff starters and leavers report. So that is being addressed and they should hopefully disappear or smaller in number for the next report. Whilst efforts are still ongoing to recruit new members, and thank you to those governors that are involved in that, work to recruit more members will be reviewed and reprioritised once we know the outcome of the membership review that's ongoing at the moment, and areas of priority will be identified and progressed and then referred to back in the delivery plan that we've just spoken about. So that's where we're at with the membership stats. Bex?
Yes, thank you for that. There was something that sprung to my mind in relation to our membership, and that was with regard to members' age ranges, and there was a piece of work going to be done with regard to whether we were going to lose members or whether it was we weren't losing them, they were actually moving into the next age range.
Yeah, so I think that action actually, I think is missing off the schedule of actions, but is something we're looking at in terms of how we can tell if people have moved bracket or whether we've actually lost members in certain areas. So I'll pick that back up and make sure it's added back to the schedule of actions.
Thank you for that. And I'd like to ask Dan Flashbourne to join us as a comment or question.
Thank you, Bex. Yes, Dan Flashbourne, adult inpatient governor. So, and this may already be in the delivery plan, but I just wanted to check that once the review is finished, are we going to be mapping the membership statistics onto the current council and see where we've got areas where we've got underrepresentation actually on the council itself, so we can actually see where we might want to target future governor membership to make sure that we're covering all of those different areas within the statistics.
Yeah, that's exactly it, Dan. So there are some actions on the delivery plan at the moment, but I don't know if they'll still be relevant moving forward when we've had our revised membership. They're off some very old statistics that we've got at the moment. So yeah, we'll do exactly that.
Thank you for your question, Dan. And do we have any other questions or comments in regard to our membership management and recruitment? I try to leave enough time, so I will move on. Moving on to item 3 on your agenda, involvement activities. Participation team activity plan. I'd like to invite Jo Walker to speak on this.
Hi again, Jo Walker, Head of Communications and Participation. So this is a regular report that we bring to the committee regarding the work of the participation team in particular across the trust in terms of some of the involvement activities that we've been doing. Since May and when we wrote this report, we've had some consultation activity around the final 2 options for our Manthorpe Older Adults Dementia Ward in Grantham and the continuation of the Dementia Home Treatment Team. That consultation closed in May, and it's just going through the Trust's internal governance processes to make a final decision on that. So we'll have an update in terms of the final decision on that in October. We've also started some engagement work around the Trust's new target operating model, and governors will have know a bit more about this from the joint board discussions that you've been involved in, but we've broadened out some initial engagement with our wider community, just trying to see what people think are gaps within our current services, where we could potentially play more of a role in helping support the wider determinants of people's mental health and well-being. And we're just collating the feedback on that to feed into that piece of work. Our normal service user experts by experience reference groups across a number of services are continuing, and lots of work happening within them to develop patient information or work with Recovery College on some courses, particularly the adult eating disorders have been working really well with the Recovery College on some courses. And the other bit to sort of pick out would be, we are coming up to a year of our Council of Lived and Learned Experience, which we're just reviewing the terms of reference on and membership are for at the moment, but that's starting to kind of get embedded and sort of trying to find where we can collate pieces of work from all of the different reference groups across the Trust into one forum to look at collective issues, and also it's a direct feed into the Quality Committee in terms of anything that they would like to use our broader expert by experience reference groups for. So we're just kind of finishing a review of that. We are about to start work on a lot of the productive pathways work across the Trust, and for those that don't know what I mean by productive pathways, it's part of our Living Within Our Means programme, where we're looking at financial sustainability of the organisation, and all of our clinical services are going to be having a look at how they currently work. Are they as efficient and as effective as they can be? As part of that work, we're going to be doing a lot of initial patient experience gathering surveys and information gathering, so you'll see lots of surveys and bits and pieces going out over the next few months, and then make sure that a number of our services that maybe don't have reference groups attached to them at the moment, that we can try and get those set up as part of that work, so they can help support those services with the review, any changes that might happen, any consultation that might be required as part of that, but also then making sure that our patient information is as up to date and as usable for people as possible. So there'll be lots of work happening around our website reviews, reviewing our information leaflets and our website review as part of that work as well. And the other bit I said I'd mention is we've done some initial engagement around the patient engagement portal that I talked about earlier, which is a new digital platform that the Trust is looking to introduce, where we can where people want to sign up. It won't be mandatory, but it will be a choice, but where people want to sign up to get their appointment letters, care plans and other information sent electronically, it'll be a app that's attached to the NHS app that people will be able to log in and see aspects of their care plan record and appointments and bits and pieces. So we've started the initial engagement work for that with the team that are procuring the system that will do that, and there'll be lots of opportunities for getting involved in the design and testing and the implementation of that as we move forward. I'll take the rest of the paper as read and happy to answer any questions. The only other thing I was just going to say is obviously this is the activity of the participation team, but we do have other areas of engagement and participation and co-production work happening across the trust. And in future reports, we're going to try and coordinate that so it comes into one report so you can see the full breadth of that work that's taking place across the trust. I'll pause there for any questions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions or comments for Jo? Thank you very much, Jo, for that. And as I said earlier, we've brought forward Jo's item on the Better Together magazine.
Yep, thank you very much. So this is the usual update to the Representation Committee about what the content of our forthcoming Better Together membership magazine is looking at. This next issue is a digital issue, which is due to go out middle of October. So we're just finalising the content on that at the moment. In the paper, you'll see a list of what's being included in that, but it's just a check back to make sure there's nothing else that the committee would like to see included, or any other questions really.
Do we have any questions regarding this from anybody? No, that doesn't. There was just one thing that I thought I'd picked up on, but I'm not sure whether I did. We talked a little while ago with regard to the One Governor experience and that going in the Better Together.
Yeah, we have been usually including that. We weren't sure whether the timings and things on this next issue were going to align, but and as they have done, we will be including that. Sorry, that should be on the list.
No, it's fine. You know, when you look at a list and you read it and you think, I've read that list, was it on? And then you think, no, I think it was on. And then you doubt yourself.
Yeah, where the editions of Better Together align with the Representation Committee, we always try and take the story that's shared and include that as part of the update. So I will make sure that we do that.
Thank you very much, Jo. And thank you for coming to the meeting this morning.
Yeah, I can stay for a bit longer, so we're okay.
Okay, thank you. Right, so moving on to our next item, governor involvement, opportunities in service developments, and inviting Amy Poole to speak on forward plan of activities.
Thank you, Bex. Amy Poole, Deputy Trust Secretary. So this report details the future meetings, events and opportunities for governors to get involved in over the next quarter. So they're listed there for information. Hopefully people should have diary invitations and everything. So yeah, that was it. Unless anybody's got any questions on any of those, Bex.
Any questions from anybody? We're a very quiet bunch this morning. It must be that Monday morning feeling. Thank you for that, Amy. Moving on to the next item, which is the ILOG and the ILOG report. And Amy again.
Thank you. So I'll start off by saying thank you to those governors that have raised ILOGs. We did see a bit of a dip in the number of ILOGs, but pleased to see that that's increased. So this report provides an update on the outcome of the 5 ILOG entries that have been completed since the last meeting. Updates for each of the ILOGs are detailed within the reports, but if anybody's got any questions, I'm happy to try and answer those now or take them away to where we've signposted the queries to.
Thank you. Any questions or comments with regard to our ILOG? And for those governors that are new to this, with your up and coming induction, the ILOG will be explained to you in good time. So moving on to item 6, activity planning. The agenda for the Council of Governors meeting 23rd of October.
Thank you. Thank you. So this is the draft agenda for the next meeting of the Council of Governors, which is due to be held in person at our Learning and Development Centre on the 23rd of October. It includes all the items from the forward agenda, and an additional item will be our community mental health survey results.
Any queries or questions, comments? Hoping to see as many people as possible, because it's really nice to get to know, especially the October Council of Governors meeting, because it means that you're getting to know some of our newer governors, and that's good, because the better we know each other, the better we can work together to make things good. If not good, even better. So we've already had the Better Together update. Do we have any other business? That would assume that we don't have any other business. So our next representation meeting is Monday the 8th of December. Same time, same place. Thank you all for giving up your morning to discuss, to learn, and I will hopefully see you all at our next meeting. If I don't see you online on Thursday for the annual public meeting.
Thanks, Bex. Thanks, everyone. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.